Ready to dive into something kind of intriguing? We're getting into Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction today.
Oh, interesting.
We've got excerpts, stories about, Cleopatra, Casanova, those types who just knew how to get what they wanted.
It's fascinating. Greene's work, it goes way beyond just romance, right?
Right.
It's about power, influence, anytime someone's got that certain hold over others.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So he lays out these 9 types of seducers, right? The
Yeah.
siren, the rake. Certain personalities are just magnetic.
Yeah. It's not about putting people in boxes, but those traits, they pull people in. Like the siren, it's more than looks.
Right.
It's that energy, right? The aura of, like, power.
Yeah.
Almost dangerous.
Totally. And speaking of siren, we're going to mention Cleopatra. Centuries, people are still obsessed. It wasn't just her looks, though, right?
No way.
Mark Antony, he was powerful himself.
Exactly. Ambitious, used to getting what he wanted. Cleopatra offered escape. That rigid Roman world. She was indulgence, luxury,
Right.
and conquering with the queen. Talk about a legacy.
Ego boost, too, right? Like, she reflected back everything he wanted to be.
Absolutely.
So it's strategy, knowing the other person's mind, but kind of manipulative.
It's a fine line. Think of it this way. We all have those needs, insecurities, even if we hide them.
True.
Seduction, any kind, often you're figuring out those needs and becoming the solution.
Like Marilyn Monroe, even. That whole persona, the walk.
Calculated.
Right. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Monroe, perfect example. That
Yeah.
walk, the voice, not natural, crafted.
Mm.
But it played into this fantasy. Innocent, but sexy and potent. So knowing what image you give off, even subconsciously, but then he goes into these like phases of seduction. It's almost like
Yeah.
a strategic plan.
It's a process.
Right.
And that's where it goes beyond just romance.
Yeah.
Creating that desire, breaking down resistance. That's negotiations, leadership, even just winning an argument, understanding that powerful stuff.
So it's like we're all playing this game without knowing the rules. Right?
Yeah. And Greene's kind of giving us the playbook.
Right. So rather than like using it for evil,
Right.
it's more about like self-awareness.
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
knowing yourself in this
Right.
dance, And one of the first things he talks about, it's kind of jarring. He says, choose the right victim.
Ooh.
Strong words, but he means recognizing who your charm works on. Not everyone's going to fall for every trick.
Yeah. Makes sense. Know your audience, right? Like Sergei Saltykov. He saw an opportunity with Catherine the Great.
Oh, Catherine. Talk about a tough situation, right?
Understatement.
Loveless marriage, dangerous politically. Lonely, underestimated. Saltykov. He provided an escape. Hope.
Classic knight in shining armor.
Totally. He saw her needs, and bam, he's the answer. But this exploiting weakness thing, it's a bit.
I know, right? A little icky.
It's about psychology, not malice, right? We've all got those gaps, things we crave.
True.
And that's where the illusion comes in. It's not lying, but tapping into someone's fantasy, who they want to be, and you make them think you're the key.
It's like those leaders, they get huge followings because they promise something more, something better.
Exactly. We're hardwired for that, right?
Yeah.
Romantic, political, even just who we hang out with.
We want to feel good. Understood.
Yes. And Greene's saying we're all susceptible to it. So how do we do that? Create that connection that you're the one feeling.
Right. How do you do that?
Well, this is where it gets spicy. Greene talks about mixing pleasure with pain.
Ooh, okay.
He says too much kindness gets boring. Predictable. It's counterintuitive, right?
Totally. Aren't we supposed to be nice?
We think so.
Mm-hmm.
But think about it. Someone's always there, always agreeing. You take them for granted.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Right, exactly. A little distance, a hint of maybe you did something wrong.
Yeah.
Makes the good times better.
Plain hard to get.
It's more than that. It's knowing humans crave novelty, excitement. Look at Cleopatra, Casanova, even Marilyn. They weren't just nice. They were intriguing.
Kept you guessing. And that ties into Greene talks about the transgressive, the taboo. Breaking the rules is attractive.
It's that primal stuff we're told to suppress. Lord Byron. Scandal followed him, but it also made him irresistible. The forbidden is exciting.
Makes you feel alive. So we've got the dangerous BUT. There's also the spiritual side of seduction. Kind of a surprise.
Right. It's not all just physical. It's connecting on that deeper level, like you're truly known.
So we're creating a vibe, not hitting someone over the head with it. Subtlety is key.
It is. Greene, he'd say those big gestures, awesome. They backfire. Too much, too fast.
Gotta let it simmer, right?
Like you force a flower to bloom, it's not the same.
Exactly. And I'm thinking honey over vinegar. Right. Sometimes that soft touch.
There you go.
Oh.
Zhu and Lai, master of that. Even with enemies, he knew the power of subtlety.
You're talking about when Chiang Kai-shek got captured, right? The nationalist leader. It seems counterintuitive, like, wouldn't you want to crush your opponent?
You'd think so, right? But Zhu, he understood that sometimes the win is making them question everything. When they caught Jiang, Zhu treated him with respect, even let him go.
Bold move. It's like saying, I'm so good you'll come around on your own.
Exactly.
Oh,
Appealed to Cheng's ego, made him wonder if Ichi was the bad guy.
wow. So brute force isn't always the answer, but then Greene goes on, it's not just getting him, but keeping him hooked.
Right.
Wait.
Disenchantment. The seduction works. Then what? How to keep that going long term.
Because, let's be real, familiarity breeds contempt. Easy to take someone for granted.
Hits the nail on the head. Green says, don't be predictable. Keep him guessing, like a dance.
So games, secrets.
Not quite. More like keep your own life, your own interest, that initial spark. Often it's the mystery. You show all your cards right away, nothing left to discover.
Even in long-term stuff, gotta keep some of yourself. I like that. So it's not just getting what you want, it's that balance of power, desire, this illusion we all play with.
Yes, that's what makes Green's work so cool. It's not some manual for manipulation. It's looking at human nature, what attracts us, how we influence each other without realizing it.
Like holding up a mirror, makes you think about your own WN motives. We're all in this game, huh? Well, on that note, folks, think about it. What tactics have worked on YU? Knowing this stuff, it helps you navigate right, maybe even with a little more strategy. Until next time, stay sharp.